Welcome back to Blue Jay Bonsai and the third and final part of the big Portulacaria makeover. So as you can see, what I decided to do was to start wiring. And if I could get some of the branches to move to hopefully where I wanted them to go, or just to move at all, it was going to help me make the final decision on which way I'd go with the design. So I started by trying to wire up the back branch, as you can see here, and the smaller of the two slingshot branches of the 2 leaders that were part of the original trident. And with one piece of wire, I got some movement. And I realized it was going to be possible, but I was probably going to have to double up on the wire. And if you're having difficulty bending branches when it has the thicker gauge wire on it, I find using a pair of pliers on the wire, not the branch, can help you put the twist or the bend. Of course, in this case, I picked up my wire cutters instead of my pliers. So now I'm applying a second piece of wire onto the back branch. And I bring it around and start wiring the fatter of the 2 slingshot branches. So this is the moment of truth, because if I'm able to put a bit of a bend in this, it's going to help me make the decision on which way I'm going to go with the design. And I can see that it's bending and it's going to be successful, but I am going to need a second piece of wire. So with the second piece of wire in place, try and put that bit of a bend into it. And what do you know? It holds its shape. Using the old pliers trick helps to put a little bit of a twist and a little bit of a bend. And I just want to get this back branch down out of the way, not so visible. I want to have some depth, but I don't want it to be in your face in the design. This little guy's pointing straight down, so he has to go. And I use a bit of thinner gauge wire just to try and put a couple of these branches in a better position. And somehow I completely missed recording the removal of that bottom branch. There were several design options that made use of it, but ultimately, based on the final height I want to have of this tree, I thought that it fell within the first 1/3 where there shouldn't be any branches. So for any of the lower branches that I am keeping, I'm just trying to get them into what I think is a better position, just down a little bit to signify age. I need a second piece of wire on the larger branch to do this, and so of course I just anchor it on the other branch. So with some final adjustments, we end up with what is for now the final state. I realize in hindsight that I probably made a typical beginner's mistake in trying to jump in too quickly and repot, root work, big chops, wiring, all at once. So what I want to do is really just to wait and make sure that this little guy recovers, and if he does and he survives, then I can go back in, refine things a little more, shorten back some of the longer branches, and start to get some more ramification. And as you can see, he matches up with design option 5, which was the I'm too afraid to make some big decisions, and I'll leave all the branches and I'll decide later on. I'd say the best or the largest of the cuttings, and make a quick little impromptu forest. Really, I just want to get these to root, and once they're all rooted, I can always pull them back apart and redesign a better forest with a better pot or a forest tray. Luckily, I have lots of little rocks that'll help me stand these cuttings up. And when everyone's in place, I just like to use a little bit of straight safety zorb or calcined clay, just as a bit of a top dressing to hold down the perlite for when you water. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode.